Cafe. I'm so thankful to be here with you for another transformational Tuesday. I might mix up the titling on these things because I've really been enjoying doing the live readings. I've really been enjoying connecting with you in this way. And so I want to keep that going. I'm going to be linking a calendar, a monthly calendar, so that you'll have a live schedule and know when I'm going live so that we can all participate a little bit more fully and have a little bit more fun while we're tapping into these frequencies and these codes together. So this morning I just finished a really beautiful one-to-one session with a client, and I am feeling like I am already in the miracle vibe of energy moving so quickly and beautifully that I am so thankful and so happy to bring that here for you. So I'm just going to go ahead and start with the prayer, set the space of intention, and allow whatever needs to come through for all of us. All right, beautiful. So as we call in divine truth and love into this sacred space, we invoke the highest possible healing for each and every viewer, replayer, and myself. We ask for the courage and compassion to speak and to hear from the purest form of self-love and forgiveness to all involved. Ia nayaka suku nihi ikiawa oapua nahaka. Beautiful. So one of the themes that we were just talking about in this session was looking at the energy that was coming from mom, or the learned lessons, the learned behaviors that was coming from mom, and the learned behaviors that were also coming from dad. And so for a lot of us, it's often easy to see or pin one parent as the one that like caused the most pain or caused the most trauma or caused the most like suffering because their expression might have been overt. And so sometimes when we get through acknowledging a lot from that one parent and we reconcile that within ourselves, then what comes up is the things that we learn from the other parent. And I really do believe that our parents do the best they could with what they have. I really believe that our parents that were embodying their shadow essence or being abusive or really causing a lot of overt pain in our lives were doing so because they were coming from a truly hurt place within themselves and didn't have the resources, or maybe even in some cases the willingness, to self-reflect and look and see what was going on. But we are living in a different era. We are living in a different place. You're watching this video, which means you care about how you experience the world. You care about how you embody your own frequencies of awareness, your own divinity, how good you feel in your body. That's really what this comes down to. We tap into this stuff because we simply want to feel good in our bodies. And so by allowing that energy to move us, allowing that to be the driving force of being willing to accept our parents. And if you are right now currently rejecting one of your parents or like acknowledging, okay, well, I had a mom or I had a dad, but mom was really abusive or dad was really passive or maybe dad was overt, whatever the story in it is for you, whatever your mind has created as a through line of a story that defines you, that defines your egoic consciousness, and how you self-identify with your inner being and your full presence, I'm here to remind you and here to just simply hold up a gentle, loving mirror that says, that's not you. It's not you. We all have the choice to be able to clearly say, well, okay, well, I'm going to acknowledge that I'm this way because XYZ happened when I was 7 years old. Well, when we get into being able to unravel those things and unpack them within us to see that these experiences, or maybe even some of the things that were told to us, they don't have to define us. But it's very common. It's very common that what our parents said to us repeatedly becomes our subconscious programming about how we see ourselves. So I was an accident. Surprise! I was an unplanned pregnancy. Let's say that. That was me. for a long time, I let that define me on a very subtle and subconscious way, that I was a mistake or that I wasn't, planned. I wasn't supposed to be here. But the fact of the matter is that I, as a spirit, came through. I chose my parents. I remember choosing them. I have access to soul memories within myself where my mother and I were actually looking at the planet before her moment of incarnation. And she and I were agreeing to be the role that we were in each other's lives and that we have been to help our own souls ascend. A lot of that came through a lot of pain. And the fact of the matter is that if I could choose to continue to carry that pain, which I did for many years, and or I could choose to face it, because I also realized that the part of me that was rejecting my mother was also rejecting me, because I am my mother's daughter. I am carrying her genes. I am carrying her programming. I am carrying the pain that she carries from my grandmother. I am carrying, I don't want to say that I am now, but I have through a lot of points in my life. So what I have learned is that through the rejection of, I would say, her as a parent, and it has, we're much, 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 much better now, but through my life, it has been very challenging. And I recognize that it's those experiences that have helped shape so much of my willingness to not be avoidant, to face problems or circumstances, to welcome adversity by means of accepting challenges, and that all circumstances are here to help us ascend and help us grow. It took me a long time to be able to say that with such a calm demeanor, because so much of my younger versions of myself had so much angst and anger and blame and shame and punishment around these things. And I think this is very, very common, especially those of us that come from some sort of dysfunctional family dynamics. Very common. It's very common. And it's one of those things in this world that holds so much shame and so much stigma. And simultaneously, we have the power within ourselves to unravel that. So not only do we go into, okay, well, this was mom's role, this is dad's role, this is how it defined me, this is how I'm allowing it to define me, but also recognizing that, okay, well, dad was programmed from his parents and mom was programmed from her parents, and how far back does that lineage go? So when we do this work and we say the buck stops here, the buck stops with me, I am not passing these dynamics on to my children, I am not passing these genetics on through my own DNA. And yes, when we heal these things, when we reconcile them within ourselves, it uploads the encoding of our own genetic predisposition. So we are actually not passing on the lineage of these traumatic events or circumstances. So, by acknowledging these things, by being able to sit with them and go, okay, there's an opportunity to redefine egoic consciousness. And the reason that we're doing this, the reason that we focus on this, is because these are things that hold us back. These are things that keep us from shining in our fullest potential and our fullest capacity. When we sit there and we are focusing so much blame on somebody that hurt us, and yes, it is possible. People do hurt people. So when we get hurt, it's not saying, well, victim mentality, victim role, all this shenanigans. Like, I think there's a lot of shame in that. If we have been hurt, it's okay to acknowledge, I've been hurt. My feelings have been hurt. My presence has been hurt. My, whatever you want to acknowledge around what part of you is hurting. It is not up to that other person to set you free, especially if they're the ones that cause the pain. When we hold this expectation that that person is then the person that needs to come to us to set us free, we are doing ourselves such a huge disservice. Such a huge disservice. But when we go, okay, that's what my father learned, that's what my father passed down to me, this is how this pattern is manifesting in my life, either in relationship with a significant other, in a business opportunity, in a, storing pain for far too long. We're going, okay, well, this is how my father handled his emotions. This is how my mother handled her emotions. Maybe this is how my siblings or grandmother handled their emotions. Okay, how do I want to handle my emotions? How do I want to face the adversity that's going on within me, that's been a storm, a low-key storm that's been brewing that attracts these opportunities for me to see myself clearly. And when we lean into that, when we tap into that and we start to go, okay, I'm in the driver's seat. I get to choose how I self identify with me. I get to choose how I self identify with people close to me and how I create my relationships, and also how I decide to parent my own children. We get to see this cycle play out in such a powerful way that it gives us the opportunity to lean in more clearly to our own internal value of self-worth that is not defined by our family dynamics. Does that sound like a relief to you? That you get to recreate, that you get to redesign. And this isn't redesigning from an egoic place. This is actually just peeling away the layers and allowing what is authentic to your internal true nature to speak loudly and to speak first. So that is what is at the forefront. That is what comes through first. It's so powerful, and it's so, 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 so beautiful to be able to acknowledge these things and the power that we have within ourselves to set ourselves free and to set a new tone of experience and existence. So breathing in deeply, connecting root chakra all the way down to the center of the planet. Yanakai uasana hi iawa, oapuanakai ia satunukua huuku, asatanakai ia tanaki iawa pu uku sunaki, ia tanakia aka nakai, sisi anakai, isi anakia uapu huuku tunake, sadake uapu apu kuaniki. Accepting all parts of yourself as lovable, accepting all parts of your programming as lovable, accepting all parts of all societal and all viral programming as lovable. And what you'll notice is that when you stop resisting or stop shaming or stop blaming, that it actually sets you free completely. Imagine your own freedom to acknowledge who you truly be at your core. Acknowledge or imagine the freedom of what it means to fully express in your authentic true nature. Imagine being able to act and behave in a way that is fully aligned with your wild internal true self. For some of you, that means a lot of walls are going to be breaking down. For some of you, that means a lot of relationships are going to be redefined. For some of you, that means that your internal relationship with self is going to be redefined. So powerful, and it's so beautiful, as you are so powerful and so beautiful. So leaning into what is here for you now. Yana yakuapua sanehi iki satanakai iowapuku tunaki atuanakai iowapu susunehi iawa akuanakai tatake anakiawa uapuaka tatakanakia sanakia akuapuku atanakai ituanupuku apuku atanaki ia sasanaka iawa ia tanaki iawa hoapua. Beautiful. And so a lot of what we're talking about here is also what gets reprogrammed in the 7 weeks to embody your higher self course. Again, allowing what wisdom is moving through you to move through you. Allowing what memories are moving through you to move through you. Allowing the power and potential of your own internal being to open up and move through you. As you reconcile these patterns of programming. Yanaya wa sayani ya ha'a. Yawanaya ayasane iya puapunaki. Sonakai atanakai ititikiania ha'aka nakiawa. Uapunaki iawa ha'a sasanaya iatanaki iataraki anakaya wapuaka. Beautiful. And so remember, you can come back to this as many, many times as you'd like, as you still feel energy moving through your body. The codes are still continuing to work. They go deeper and deeper every time to allow you the permission to uproot the theme of what it is that we're talking about. Uproot some of those patterns that have kept you from being able to really see your true value and really express yourself fully in your true authentic nature. Sanakayawa aquaponaki. Yadakanakia haakana sai sanaya atanai iawapuanakai. Tutadeteke, tutadeteke, tutakai, tutakai, tutakai. You're so deeply loved. You are so deeply celebrated. I do want to encourage you that today is the last day to tap into the 7 Weeks to Embody Your Higher Self course for the current price. Yes, it will still be available. Yes, it will still be offered. It is such a powerful course that for me it is really important to keep those doors open and to keep it cycling and to continue to bring new people in. So the price will increase. And we will be doing live reading sessions specifically only to people that are enrolled in the course. So it's a much smaller container. Will be held through Zoom, so it is a more controlled container than these YouTube lives, which is fun. But it really brings a lot of precision to our own healing journey. So again, if that's something that you really want to do, I encourage you to tap into the link in the description below. It's in the link tree. And you can tap into the description of all videos that I have posted. It actually has that in there as well. So I encourage you to lean into that, my sweet love, my sweet friend. Take advantage today, and I do hope to see you in there. I want to say thank you so much for joining me here. Please feel free to continue watching these videos that are posted here to encourage the fluidity of your own growth and ascension. And from the deepest place of my heart, I genuinely hope that you feel a reconciliation going on with your ancestral line through mom and through dad, knowing that you are so deeply guided and that you are so deeply and incredibly supported in the most powerful ways, that when you start working with your ancestral line through forgiving both parents and all parties involved in raising you from the beginning, you will start to feel a really powerful surge of your internal power. This isn't a power that you bring or take from somebody else. This is your internal power that really starts opening and really starts activating. There's so much beauty and so much worthiness in this world for you. And I, like I've said before, I promise to stay awake with you. I promise to stay consistent with you, and I promise to continue doing what I can to serve you in your absolute and highest grace as we continue to ascend and work through all things human as we learn to embody heaven on earth consciousness here in this world. So with that, my sweet friends, as we go forth, may we integrate the healing and the lessons received with courage, self-love, and compassion. Our session here today is very much complete. Mwah! Ciao, ciao, my friends.